joined today by someone who has spent nearly 3 decades immersed in the world of hunting, fishing, and the outdoors. He's a guide, an entrepreneur, a chef, a media personality, and the CEO of Stéphane Monette, a company known for its innovative hunting products. He's also the host of Envers, where he's shared over 1,700 episodes of insight and passion for his way of life. But beyond all the titles and achievements, he's someone who truly lives and breathes the outdoors. Welcome to the Silvercore podcast, Stéphane Monette.
Hi, Travis. How are you?
I'm doing really well, and I know I messed.
It looks like I'm a guy with 100 years, eh?
Yes, you are. And I totally messed up the firm. I said firm A. Me and French.
No, that's fine. It's a farm. That's cool. No problem for that.
Monette Farm. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, over the years, man, the number of times I have butchered French names. I'm sorry, Catherine Laflamme. I know that's not your name, or Seb Lavoie. I know. Some I've had to back up and re-record. Catherine Laflamme. Seb Lavoie, right?
That's right. But the thing is, please be cool with me, because even my accent sometimes gives a hard time. So we're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay.
What did you ask at the beginning? It's like, you're gonna be okay. You'll help me throw in some of the English words. Like, I'll just sit back. I'll point and laugh. No.
Yeah, that's it. When I'll be in the ditch. That's right.
Oh, I love it. So we first met. So I've heard about you. I've known about you for some time, but we got to meet face to face at SHOT Show here recently.
Of course.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I'm still getting over the cough and the
I am
regular.
fine. I was okay. I don't
Were
know
you?
if I was okay. Normally, I'm like you. When I come back of the SHOT Show, I got a coughing and stuff like that. But this year, I'll be fine. So I hope I don't get it later. Then that's the only thing.
No, I think you're past that. Man, this year is bad. Like, I've seen some people come back. I remember years ago when COVID first hit, and everyone's coming back, and they're like, what is going on? I remember Paul Ballard, he's been on the podcast before, a good friend of mine, and he was down there at SHOT with me, and he was green, and he was in bed for about a week afterwards.
Tons.
Yes.
That's it, you're right. And there's a tons now. It looked like really hurting, really, really bad. But I think I would say that, where we're living on a farm, we're a little bit on the side. So I hope it don't come here. So we just hope.
Well, you got a cool farm. You're not your traditional, typical type of farm. Tell me about your farm.
But the thing is, it's a whitetail farm. Okay, we're raising whitetail. At the time was for collecting the urine for making attractant for huntings. But when the CWD stuff just arrived on the east side, so all government shut off all the collecting of those urines. So, but the thing is, the business was like that for 30 years. So we knew I was on programs to collecting information for the CWD and everything. So when we see that, I would say 20 years ago, my dad, because it's a family stuff here, I live with my dad, my mom, my sons, we're all living in the barns. And when we hear, about CWD, we're just starting to do everything, on synthetic products, not real products, but so make a lot of study, make a lot of research, looking for everything. So when the law comes about the CWD and stop collecting urines, we were ready to selling stuff like we do now. And it's then I'm right, synthetic? Is that okay? Synthetic?
Yeah, scented what?
Synthetic. Not real one. It's like...
Oh, synthetic. Yeah, synthetic.
Synthetic.
Yeah,
That's my French accent again.
Yes, synthetic. I got you.
That's it. Synthetic. That's it.
Do you find the synthetic works better than different? Or?
What we found out is, yes, for the smell, it's really, really work. The thing is, when the hunters smell it, and they found out the smell, sometimes they said it looked perfume. It smelled like a perfume. But the thing is, when you draw it in the air and it goes with the oxygen, the real scent's going to come by. And after that, with all the research we did for the last 20 years, we found out the way to put inside the pheromones, not real pheromones, but tell me again, synthetic
pheromones.
Pheromones.
Yeah.
So that now it's really changing. It's a big game changing on that kind of attractant. So we do well. Everything is fine. We could not respond to all the domains, so that's fine.
Isn't that funny? You bring up a really good point, because not only does it have to be effective for the animals to work, but you're also marketing it towards the individual. It's like camouflage, right? You can have a highly effective camouflage that nobody's going to wear it because they're like, I don't think it looks good, right?
Yeah. That's right. That's how it is. That's how it is. But the thing is, from 30 years we get that business. Now, what is really really cool? It's the success of the hunters. So we don't have to sell it more now because what it really helping us is the social media. So those guys now are posting their success for moose, for deer, stuff like that. So we have nothing to say about. Listen, if you don't believe it, talk about with this guy. This guy shot this and this and this animal,
Sure.
and they have success with it. So that's how it is now. So the social media really, really put the emphasis of the success of those products. So for us, it was really easy after that.
So we just got our first kind of confirmed cases of chronic wasting disease in British Columbia within the last year and a bit now. And
Oh, it's about a year for you guys up there.
yeah, but
Oh,
about
I
that,
didn't know.
yeah.
I didn't
Yeah,
know on BCs. I didn't know.
they just started kind of coming in, and but yeah, about a year. Again, I think that's about right.
Okay.
Somebody listening will probably be able to correct me, but
Mm-hmm.
from my recollection, yeah. Well, what was the impact like on the deer population over in Quebec, and what was the impact like
We
on your
don't.
farm?
We They did about the last 5 years. They found out in a farm on a red deer. They found out CWD in there. So there was a big emergency all in the province. So they shot over for I would say, is that 2,000? Yeah, I think 2,000 deer just around that farm. Make sure there's no disease, there's nothing happen. And after 5 years, just last year, they says everything was fine. We have no disease in the wild.
Oh
So that
wow,
was really, really cool. So they found out it was really cool. The thing is, it's just a matter of time the disease is going to come
all right.
because the disease is on the south. Okay, all on the border they have it. So the thing is, we have to live with the disease. That's the only thing. And the thing is, in Quebec with the snow, there's, the temperature is really, really not really perfect for the deer up north. So I think there's not a lot of chance the disease is gonna come really hard like it touched like Saskatchewan or Alberta or those places. I don't know
Right.
you guys in BC's.
Yeah, no, Alberta's got it. I was talking with Kevin Kosowin from The
Hmm.
Wild is a show that he puts out, and he's like, it's terrible. We go out there, you harvest your
Yeah.
deer, you bring it back, it's hanging up. You send in your samples for testing. You find out that it tested positive for CWD, and they recommend that you don't eat it, even though they don't know if it's
But the thing is, there's
zoonotic.
no danger yet. There's no danger for human. That's even on the states. Whatever happens, nothing's really happened to human. But like you says, hunters gonna eat it or not. It depends. But what I find out in the states, they don't care about if nobody's dead with that. So we
Do,
just
do
have
they
to
eat
think
it in the
about that.
States? That's something I
Sorry,
should know. It's something I probably should know. Do they eat the deer with CWD in the States?
a lot of places where I go, they don't care about that. They
Yeah,
don't care about it. But the thing is, there's so much now animal about this, and there's no danger for between you and me. If they tell me one of my deer got CWD, if I shot a deer, for sure, I don't think I'm gonna eat it. Okay, just
right.
make sure everything was fine.
Hmm.
But on the top of everything, there's so much deer killed in the states. No one are all tested, so for sure someone's gonna eat them, and nothing's happened with no result for the hunter. So
Mm,
I don't know. I don't know exactly. But the thing is, that disease was there 100 years ago, and it's going to be there until after that. So I
yeah,
don't know. I don't know exactly. The thing is controlling the population. That's the point. If you have too much deer, some disease going to happen to control the population. So
yeah,
that's how it is.
yeah.
That
Just like
happened with the moose. That happened with the geese. That happened with all of them. So it
kind of
depends.
nature's got an interesting way of leveling things out. Same with people.
Mm.
There'll be a natural disaster. There'll be disease. There'll be food shortage or famine, strife, pestilence, war, whatever the four horses of the apocalypse are.
Of course,
Famine.
Mother Nature is really, really, really strong.
Yeah.
She's better than us on everything. So,
Sure does. George
yep,
Carlin had something to say on that. He says,
yep, yep.
you think you're going to have an impact on nature? You are just a blip. Humankind is just a blip on the universe, on the world, on Earth.
Of course, I agree with
It'll
that. And
shrug us off like nothing.
The thing is, us, we know that better than anyone because we're always on the field. You see, we always have muds on our boots, and we see all the difference. You see the difference on the temperature. We see when it's changing, when you see fall's coming faster or summer is too hot. We see exactly when we are on the field, the changing. I would say that those guys or those girls in the town are living top by top by top of them, They don't know nothing about that. So us, we are really, really close for that. And we really, I think we really know more than everybody what's going to come because we see the difference. We see the change. So,
Well, the best predictor of future performance is past performance. And if you've got a strong database of past performance, you've probably got a pretty good idea of where things are going to be going in the future. And that shouldn't be discounted.
I see. I agree with you. But sometimes if we don't have any university or they don't agree with what we're saying. So
Should never confuse an education with intelligence. Yes, they can go hand in hand, but not always.
No, yeah. I agree with you.
So you started guiding. Was that on Anticosti Island where you started?
Yeah, that's right.
Guiding?
Yeah.
So Anticosti Island, I'm looking at it. The place, I never heard of it before you and I were chatting about it. It looks amazing. Less than 300 people living on the island, no paved roads, big waterfalls, giant caves, and over 115,000 white-tailed deer on this island. It's just all little over 7,000 kilometers.
Yep, that's right. And the thing is, that island was that was a rich chocolate guy in the early 19s did that. It's a Meunier, that name from France.
Henri Meunier.
And Meunier, his name was that guy, and he just pays some people to bring a lot of animal on that island to hunting. And when he die and he sell it, but the only animal who really live on it was whitetail. Moose they have a little bit, but the elk was gone, everything, and no predators, so no wolves, no coyotes, nothing up there. So and why the reason I agreed to go guiding up there is because my dad and my mom had the opportunity to buy a setup to do outfitters, be the first outfitters on the Anticosti Island, because all the island was to the government before that. So some part of the territory was given, and my dad at that time have the contact or I don't know what, and he get the opportunity to get outfitters up there. So I'm a young guy, 16 years old, at school for cooking, and my dad says, "Your summertime. Do you want to go fishing salmon and go hunting deer until you're going to restart your school?" Why not, you think?
Yeah. The answer is yes.
Yes.
Yes, I would. Thank you.
Yeah, that's it. So that's why so young, I start guiding up there. So for salmon fishing, I was replacing the guide. So when some guide could not go with customer, I went guiding. And after that, they gave me some group for hunting deer. So that's how I started everything until 19, 20 years old. And after that, I finished my school. I was going to be a cook, chef, and not so long. It took a year, and after that, I said, "No way, I don't want to be cook anymore. I want to go on the field."
It's a different way of life, isn't it? Being a chef, that's you really got to buy into that lifestyle. If you're going to do it, you got to go just head first and jump in, and that can be a tough go.
When you like wildlife, you like to go outside and everything. Always be inside on the back of the cooking and stuff, and the stress on there and everything is Not
But
for me
what
anymore.
I found is really cool is that correlation between your natural environment and somebody who's passionate about knowing where their food comes from, because
Ah,
there's a difference between the person who just likes to hunt or the person who just likes to cook. The person who has a solid appreciation and understanding of food and food preparation and what you can do with it, who also is drawn towards farming, gardening, the animals, the biology,
of course.
the marine life. Holy crow! That's a really cool piece, and
Of course.
only in the only recently really have I seen that portrayed in sort of its fullness, because everyone understands you hunt, you have meat, you can go and you've got food, right? But
Mhm.
that connection between nature and food and our role in all of that has really been put on the forefront in
Of course.
modern social media, in modern like Meat Eater and the
Of course,
Netflix
those
shows.
guys bring new opening of that, and I think the COVID did a lot of things on that because we see here on the east side a lot of increasing women,
Hmm.
mother going
Hmm.
hunting, bring the food to the family with the husband and so we see from the last 6 year 5 years it's really increasing and those environment of cooking and hunting and all those stuff going very well now.
Yeah, so my wife, who you've met, is a
Hmm.
Red Seal chef, and
Yeah.
you know, and she loves gardening and farming, and she loves being outdoors and hunting and fishing. And it was interesting looking at the perspective that I brought, because I was always survival type, going out in the woods, spending time out, and she's brings this very civilized nature to it. I'm like, holy crow! This is really good food that we can eat when we're out there. We make a good team, but she's also looking at different things, right? She's
That's
like,
it.
"Oh, our elevation, we need to drop down a little bit because the
Yep.
spruce tips. I'm not noticing them on the because she'd collect spruce tips and
Yes.
eat them
Yes.
and
I
make
see. I know.
yeah, our elevation's too high. We got to go down if we're looking for something. I'm like, well, that's interesting. I'm looking at different things. She's looking at different things, but it complements very nicely.
Of course. And there's a lot of opening now on both side. Both side,
Hmm.
a lot of opening. But when you put everything together, it's a perfect way. I think. That.
Well, you've written some cookbooks.
Of course,
Tell me
that's
about
why.
this.
And the thing is, the way we live, it's really. I don't want to say normal, but the thing is, we're living on a farm, raising deer, all from I don't understand when, but we're always eating wild meat all the
Sure.
time. Even it's moose, deer, ducks, geese, whatever. Okay,
Mm.
so and all recipe from the family was made by that because my mom was doing this. Also, I'm a cook, so I'm doing a lot of cooking stuff with it. And when I found out, a lot of people, with the media, social media and everything says how you do this and how you do that and how you do.
Right.
So we just say, okay, the first book we're going to do is going to be the family recipe. So whatever, simple macaroni with mousse or just simple stuff. And
Yeah.
the books went over what we're thinking we can sell. So we found out those people like to know simple things, what we eat every day, but with the wild meat. So that was the
Mm.
thing. So that was really good. The second one was the same. The second one was a little bit more over it, but the first and the second ones we're looking now to doing another one because there's a lot of guys asking for barbecue stuff, to put on
Mm.
the barbecue, the wild meat. So now we're looking maybe to doing with all the project we have. That's in the new books maybe we want to do.
Very cool. Yeah, I just
Yeah.
did a chat there with Jesse Griffiths from Meat Eater, who's got uh, Due in Texas there in the Austin area. So he's doing
Oh,
the barbecue and
that's it.
so passionate about what he does and so down to earth. A really cool individual actually. But I'll get I'll do an introduction for you and him when we
Oh,
get
for
off the
sure,
air
for
here.
sure. You know what is really cool of what we do here on barbecue is bring maple syrup on everything.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
That's
I
it. That's
love
the
it.
point. But so much recipe now we do with barbecue with maple syrup. from the wild. But everything all together, oh man, that's doing good recipe here. So say if you like a little bit sweet, that's really, really kind. And sometimes some meat are really strong. So bring all those together is really, really nice.
So I guess the biggest problem with putting the maple syrup on would be that you increase the risk of those sugars burning. So you just have to change how you cook it.
That's it. That's right. That's right. And it depending, sometimes you're gonna cook everything at the end. You're gonna put some like a marinade at the base with maple syrup, or you're gonna to depend. But most, yeah, you have to take care of not burning the syrup on the barbecue. So that's the most interesting thing.
Oh, you should see. I have a problem. I have a sweet tooth. I know it's something I'm working on. My wife's family has a sugar maples in Nova Scotia, Swan Farms, and
that's
so
it.
we've got cases and cases of those maple syrup tin cans. Oh man,
That's
and
it.
the maple butter and the maple the hard
Sugar
stuff.
and
Oh yeah,
yes.
yeah. It gets dangerous. It gets dangerous.
Yeah, of course. And even when we go at age we're going on at, we have to take care of that for sure.
Really, I think it's probably people talk about fat. Oh, you got to eliminate fats, or they talk about carbs. I think sugar is one of those things that is like hugely. I never realized it. I was raised on sugar until I started to wean myself off and have a bit of a respectable relationship
But
with
the
it.
thing is, natural maple sugar, it's really, really good for us. So that's the thing. I don't
Not
want to say,
refined.
it's good. That's it. It's really, really different than the white sugar or something like that. The maple sugar, it's really good for our health. So that's really nice. Not so much. It's like everything. No, you don't put too much. But no, seriously, it's a real good sugar to use. So that's why we're like that, me and you. So that's the you say yes.
So tell me, why were you down at SHOT? Let's talk about that.
What you mean?
SHOT Show in Vegas.
Oh, why I was at the SHOT Show?
Yes.
It's
Because you've got a special relationship with some people that we know and love.
yes. But the first thing was for Beretta because
Yes.
I'm ambassador for them for Canada.
Yeah.
So they use me a lot on the east side. So and it's been 6 years now I'm with them. They send me all over the world to learn about Berettas, Sacco, Tikka. I went in Sweden for Norma. So from that, every year's on the sales because when they do the SHOT Show, they have a lot of customer from the east going up there. So I have some help. They need me to help the sales guys for the customer on the products of Beretta, Sacco, Tikka, Norma, all those stuff. So that's why I go to the SHOT Show. Normally, before that was for my own business. But now I'm going mostly for Beretta to go talk about the guns and the learning I have from them and the new products I used before. So how to use like this year the Tikka Ace or all those guns I have the chance to try on before. So that was it. So that was a reason. And it's cool because now I know a lot of people all around the world. So the SHOT Show brings us, when the guys from Steiner, the guys from Norma, all those guys. So that's a goal every year. We make sure we're gonna take I don't drink, so we take a coffee together and having fun. Like I met you. That was one of the good time we had together.
I'd agree. Yeah, that was a highlight of SHOT Show. It was so Beretta. I've always loved my Berettas. When I was a teenager, I purchased a break action. I thought it was pretty nice. It was $800, and that was more money than I've ever spent on a gun before. But hey, this is a nice over-under Beretta. I mean, it had some problems. It had a little bit of a bulge in the barrel. The barrel had been rib-blued before. The forest stock on it had a bit of a crack, and I'm like, I can fix these things up, right?
Of course.
So I'm like, okay, that's cool. And so I had this thing. I shot it for years. I just threw a nice butt pad on this thing and fixed it up as best as I could. And I fixed the bulge in the barrel and cleaned it up nicely because I was doing gunsmithing at the time. And it was really tight, right? So when I opened it up, shooting my 2 3/4, 7.5 shot out, shooting some trap, and I'd press the lever open, and to break it open, I had to kind of like tap it on my knee. and get it open. Anyways, there's a group of us who are out shooting, and one new guy, I don't know if I should say his name on here, but I've always remembered his name. I'll say Greg N, and we'll just leave it at that. This new guy who I've never met before comes up, and he says,
Yeah.
can I join your group? I'd really like to shoot with you. Of course, not a problem, right? Sounds good. And then he says at one of the stations, oh, can I see your shotgun? That's kind of a nice shotgun, right? I said, yeah, no problem. Tell you what, I got to go up and change the clays in this one tower here.
Yeah.
And I'm up in the tower, I'm changing the clays, and one of my buddies, Pat, says, Trav, your shotgun, it's broken. I'm like, what? And I come down, and I'm looking at this thing, and it's cracked right in half at the wrist. And the best I could figure was that this guy was watching me open it up and couldn't get it open, and he figured he had to like bend it over his knee. And so I'm like, and I look at this Greg guy and I say, what happened? And he was about to say something, and my other buddy is like, says, oh, I don't know, we didn't see anything. And the second my buddy said that, this guy just shut his mouth. He's like, oh, I don't know. So anyways, I got the shotgun, and I'll throw a picture of it up on here for people who are watching. I'll have to remember that one. And I put a couple steel pins in, and I acroglassed it back together, and you can see the break in there, but fair enough. I ended up selling it, and I thought I did a pretty good job. I sold it for $800. I bought it for $800. I showed a picture of this to the guys at the Beretta booth.
Yeah.
Because the guy who bought it, I said, well, the barrel's been re-blued, and there's a crack back here. He's like, I don't care. I've already got it worked out with Beretta. All I wanted was the action. They're making new barrels. They're making a new stock for me. All I wanted was the action on this thing. The guys in the Beretta booth were shaking their head. They kept referring me to new people, trying to find a price on this. So I'll put a picture of, if anyone is into Beretta and they know what model this thing is, or how much money I lost by selling it for $800.
How much money you can have. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, let me know.
Yeah, that's right. Let me know. That's right.
Man. So, you were down there with Beretta. You were there on Sunday for the Beretta Day.
Yep. I was there, I think. I'm not really good on time, okay? But I was there 2 days before the SHOT Show opens because I had to go to the shooting range.
Yeah.
So I went to the shooting range of Beretta. So that's where we found out the new model just before, because you have to know, American drives the show. So we have to think about that difference from Canada.
Yep.
So sometimes we know there's models that's going to come by, but if Americans say, no, we don't want it, we don't have it yet in Canada. So when we go to the shooting range, we're allowed to know what gun's going to be present to the SHOT Show. So that's why we go up there and we look on everything, and we can try on everything and see which. You see, for myself, that was the Ace one of the Tika Ace. That was a major things I have to look at it to make sure everything was fine. And I look for the new, the BRX was coming 2 years ago. So I was looking for the new models because they were supposing to have some new model, but it was not there yet. So we have to figure it out at the end of the winter, which gun's going to go out, and we're going to get it in Canada. So we have to find out after that. But a lot of things I see a lot of things when I went in Italy. And it's not coming yet. Yeah. If I say something when I'm going to go again in Italy, I don't come back. So I don't know if I can say that. But the thing is, there's so much research on everything. One thing I can tell you, okay, when I went there the first time, in the same year, I went 2 times in Italy. The first time was to see everything. The warehouse, the production, and everything. But after that, they tell me, if you want to go again, we're gonna give you a special formation for a course for the DT-11. So if you know what is the DT-11, is the gun to the Olympics. Okay, it's the perfect over/under shotguns. So I went. The first time was in May, and they shipped me back in August, September, something like that. And when I went in September and I went in a warehouse, it's really huge. And there's some shelves on wheels, and there was tons of that kind of stuff with a barrel of 9mm. I would say there was 100,000 barrel of 9 millimeters was made. So I said, what happened, you think? I said, oh, maybe a war is going to come. And the war, a year after that, Ukraine, and you see the war we have now with the Russian in Ukraine just started. But those guys know exactly when something's gonna happen. Prepare the sales for those guns who's gonna be there. So you see, same thing with Norma. There's so much bullet going out,
That's
going
right.
out. When I went there, that was crazy. I was at the peak of the Ukraine war at that time. That was amazing. The bullet was going out for the war. So there's a lot of things you see up there when you go. You see in the warehouse stuff like that. But for the guns, can I say something? I don't remember.
I don't
I don't
remember.
remember.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, the production of the firearms prior to the war. Si vis pacem para bellum. The Latin, if you want peace, prepare for war.
Yeah, yeah, and it's amazing. Hunting is one thing. Shooting, passion shooting is one thing. But when you see all those things going all around with the war, it's really, really huge, amazing. What is the money going in there? Just look what happened now with the United States. You see with all what Trump want to put in the money in their army and stuff like that. So we know business of hunting and shooting, for fun, it's a thing, but major stuff, it's really war. We cannot pass over it. It's war controlling a lot of things like that. So we
Yeah.
find out when we will see those warehouse and manufacture.
So tell me about Angers. What
Oh,
was
jobs.
Yeah, what was the impetus for that? Tell me what it's done for you.
The
Tell me.
thing is, we're gonna say let's talk, okay? Because it's a translation from the French to the English, so it's let's talk. Well, in French, we don't say on jase, okay? It's let's talk together. That's what it means.
Okay.
But you see, when the COVID start, I have a small followers, people following me on my social media like Facebook, Instagram, and stuff like that. I was more Facebook, and I'm still more Facebook. But at that time, I could not do nothing. The barn, at the farm, there was fine, but we could not ship nothing in the store. So we get maybe 6 months, nothing. We could not do nothing. So I said, well, I could, guys like us sitting on a table looking at outside. I said, no, I have to do something. So I just start every morning talking with my followers. Say, hey, good morning, guys. This morning, I'm going at the barn. We're gonna shoot the deer. We're gonna put you some picture and just starting about the passion. Talk about hunting, fishing, the way of living, experience we have following the season. Because the thing is with Angers, let's talk, it's the following of the season. So every day, what happened up there, taking the snowmobile at this time of the year, and after that, taking the ATV to go geese hunting, or after that, moose hunting and stuff like that. So I just started that, and the increase of the follower was jumping like amazingly. And the thing is, those followers are really, really connecting with my business. They really like the way I talk about my lifestyle, the lifestyle we have in the family. I present my son, present my wife on the show and everything, and it's like this. I'm in my kitchen now, and I start everything in my kitchen. And I tried to do a studio, and the people said, no, 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 no. You stay in the kitchen. That's what we like when you see your wife passing and everything passing. So
Ah,
it's really live. What you see, it's what you get. It's like that.
yeah.
So I started that. My business was growing like I could not believe it. And after, I would say, 5 years now, I do a show every morning, 30 minutes, talking with my audience, talking with my followers. The only thing we changed is last year, with all the social media talking about guns, they cut off, they cut us because if we talk too much gun, they on live, they shut off the channel.
Interesting.
So I made my own Angers Let's Talk website where we every day we're on this one too. So we are on Let's Talk every morning, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all those. But when I talk guns and they cut me while we're still live on the platform, so that's why it's so nice and so cool. So that was it. That was 5 years, 1,775 show, back to back,
Wow.
30 minutes every day.
Do
Yeah,
you still
that's
do you still get cut if you're talking about guns on
all
Facebook?
times,
Really?
all
Because
times, all
Zuckerberg
times.
came out and said, "Oh, we're going to change how we do things," but it's still happening, is it?
Yeah, yeah. If the thing is, because if you are live, because every morning I'm live, mostly, I would say 90% of the time I'm live. The 10% is when I'm in Saskatchewan or really far or something like that. I do a video every day,
Mm.
but I drop it and the followers can see it on every day what happened up there.
Mm.
But if you do something live and you show a gun, they cut you.
Mm.
So that's why now, because I'm doing a live every day. So if I want to talk about Tika, Sako, something like that, and if I show the gun, they cut me right on, because I don't know why, maybe it's the algorithms. Can I say that? The
Rhythm?
computers,
Yeah.
yeah, they cut straightly. You know what happened the last one I was cut?
No.
I was talking politics.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they shut down the show because
Good
I was
job,
talking
Canada.
politics, and they cut me out. This one I didn't know. This one I didn't know.
It's really interesting looking at Canada's political news coverage when you're outside of Canada and you see what other people are saying and what their perspective is and
Yep.
how insulated and highly contrived and controlled our media is here in Canada. I mean,
Crazy.
I think that's one of the big reasons that TikTok came under fire. It had nothing to do with it was just
Yep.
how do we control messaging and media that the people are going to be able to get. There's
Yep.
a, there's a, what's the account? Blender, I think it is, Blendr, and
Yeah.
they're on TikTok and they're constantly talking about Canadian politics and they're highly critical of a lot of things that are happening right now. You try and find that on Instagram or Facebook in Canada,
No.
can't. It says
No.
this account's blocked. In fact,
I'll
social
tell you.
media is just blocked.
Yeah, I tell you a story. Okay, I have a show every day. Not
Hmm.
every day. Once a week in a radio station in Quebec City. They are really on the right side. Okay, I would say
Hmm.
that. And I went to the show live directly to the studio,
Hmm.
and there's a guy up there. He was doing a chronic like I do, and when he go out, he said, "I know your voice." I said, "Oh, how you know my voice? Maybe of something what I do." He said, "No, people working for me have a contract on you." Contract on me?
Sorry,
What you
what?
mean? Yeah, that's it. If you have a contract on me, tell me what I have to do. He says, no, because I'm a specializing business on social media listener.
Hmm.
So government people are hired me
Hmm.
to listen what happens, put that in whatever you're gonna say, and transmit that to government, or people want to know what you're gonna say. I say, no way. Say, yep. So we have people listening to you every morning, see what you tell, ship that to, I don't know who, government, you don't tell me who, to know what you're gonna say, how you're gonna make it, and how you're gonna do it. So
Really?
crazy, eh?
That is
Crazy in a country
really
like we
crazy.
have. Yep.
I remember,
Yep.
I remember years ago, there's a website, Canadian Gun Nuts. Um, and when it was kind of first getting rolling and I was reading through disclosure documents that had email correspondence between firearms officers and other people, and they're like, "Oh, have you guys ever heard of this website? Like, what's going on over here?" And like, "Oh, so and so," they give the name. This guy has access to it, and he's the one who's been monitoring it. And it was interesting just looking, human nature is human nature, but the
Yeah.
comments going back and forth were, "Oh, I just read this thread. You can just visualize these guys sitting in their mother's basement, crying about all the guns that they're not allowed to have." And there's this
Yep.
real us against them kind of mentality that's going on, and there's a fear of what people may be saying or what people may be doing, and that was going back a long time. When did you get
Yep.
this information about the contract?
That was a guy just in front of me. So when off record after that, I talked with the guy, said, explain me more. But he says, that's normal now. There are some business like I have. We use IA, intelligence, artificial intelligence. And when you say something on your podcast, we put this. We take out when you say something. Maybe I'm not wrong, because what you see is what you get. It's really simple, and I think I'm a good follower, So, but sometimes if I see something on government, and I just tell the truth, and that's how it is. But it's shaking some hands, not some hands, but some hands, I would say. And those guys don't love it. And you have to know, in Quebec, it's from the last 3 years, hunters are more involved about the deer. They know management. And it took a long time on the east side, because the language is really hard, French to English. So now we have more guys translating the stuff we get from quality deer management, whatever it is. And now when government says the law this year for hunting is going to be this and this and this and this, but those guys have now the information from the States, from Canada, even whatever it is, and they don't agree. So they have information, and that never happened before. From the last 3 to 4 years. From that, we found out all those guys in government don't really enjoying what we're saying. So more and more, I can say that I'm on the blacklist. If I go on the government, I'm on the blacklist for sure. If they know my name, and if I go like a supper or something like that, where all those guys are, nobody want to talk with me. Nobody want to talk. They just, that's how it is.
Does it make you more cautious about what you say when you're broadcasting?
No, I do. You see, I don't think I do wrong things. I just talk about what is real living on a farm. I always have a gun with me. That's how it is. I see coyotes, I see wolf, I see bear. Even if one of my deer have a broken legs, are stuck in the whatever, I have to use my guns. So guns here are like a spoon for kitchen. You see, but in Quebec, it's not really normal. I would say that. You see, we don't have any grizzly, we don't have any mountain lion, so we just have the black bears, and they are normally really high hand of the province. So those things, and we don't have a lot of people living there, so we don't have really dangerous game, even if you are on the woods every day. Because myself, I've been attacked 2 times by bears. I've been attacked by a crowd of coyotes. So, but we're always having guns. So when you're talking about that, you love guns. It's a tool. It's something you like to use. Those guys, when you're talking about that, and even if I talk the way of life with my sons, or I treat my sons, the respect, family stuff, and everything. Sometimes it don't go on the side they want. So that's the reason. But I don't change nothing. Maybe I'll be. I don't swear. I don't swear anymore.
Okay.
That's the only thing I don't do. Why? Because what I found out is I didn't know. You see, this things, we're talking, okay? The camera. Sometimes you don't think who's looking at you. And when I found out there's sometimes a dad sitting with his child, looking at what Stéphane says. So I said, okay, if I be a good father, swearing is not a good thing sometimes. I can say one time, and I advise, take the child out. I'm going to say something, But the thing is, that's the only thing I try to be really good. But for the rest, my opinion is my opinion. Whatever I'm going to say, whatever. You see, here, if we're talking about handguns, it's critical. It's really, really bad. Nobody knows. You see, for myself, having handguns, it's really normal. When you know how it works.
Sure.
When you know how it works, it's really easy to, you see? So that's how it is.
the idea that handguns are bad has always baffled me. So what? We have something that's less powerful and it'll reach less of a distance. It won't go as
Of
far
course.
as a rifle. And that's going to be the big bad thing because what? It's
Yep.
small. I mean, it's always kind of made me scratch my head.
That's baby scratch. I love it. I love it. But the thing is like that. So I don't change. I don't change the way I think. I'm really simple. But if I have to tell you, it's a baby scratch. It's a baby scratch. That's the only thing. That's how it is.
So you say you're on a blacklist.
Yeah.
I found that the opposite is kind of true for me. You know, the saying an armed society is a polite society, right? Well, Stéphane, you've got a voice now. The fact that you have a voice and people are listening and you've got something to say, and so many people are listening that the government's actually contractually listening to what you're doing, it tends to keep people in check who might otherwise not be held in check. So my experience of having a podcast is that it offers a great deal of protection for an individual.
Of course.
You have to be cautious about things that you say and how you say it, which
Yep.
is like you. I do my best not to
a good
swear.
fathers. We're always being a good fathers. That's the way I think. That's the way I did it.
Yes. I always try to be positive in what we talk about. If it's
Yep.
going to be a negative subject, I try and find some positive spin or resolution.
Of course.
Otherwise, we're just complaining, and that's of very little
No,
value to
no,
me.
no. And we're not. I'm not that kind of guy. I always see the good things on whatever the subject it is. I don't want to go on the dark side. I always think, but I think it's business bring that knowledge. You have to find out if there's a problem. There's a way to succeed with that. So maybe it's the entrepreneur or something like that. Bring me on that. But you're right. That's how it is.
Well, I found that, because I'm a licensed firearms business. I have a licensed firearms business as well, and
Me too.
licensed firearms owner. And I've got to the right of me here a framed apology letter from the RCMP from the Canadian Firearms Program for the missteps that they made a number of years ago, where people were getting a little overly ambitious in their role and trying to circumscribe businesses that would be competitive to their own and doing things that were highly illegal and highly unethical. Having a voice all of a sudden keeps those people in check, the people who would try and abuse their power and abuse their position. So I found that to be an effective tool to be able to disseminate information, but also to offer layers of protection. So it might be another way of looking at this, of what you have there.
That's how it is. The thing is, what I found out is talking in front of the camera or the mics is one thing. So now what I use is using all those people who they are followers, numbers of followers, and try to negotiating on the back. Tell them, listen, we have over 200,000 people following us. They want that and that and that. And can we talk about that? I don't want to go on the side. I'm going to say to everybody, you're not a good guy. That's not how I want to do. But with all those people on the back of us, and they push out on the front and say, can you go talk with them? Now I see it. They understand more about a guy like you or a guy like me. So when I call them, I say, listen, maybe can I be sitting on the table or just have an appointment with you? And I'm going to talk, because from my business of entrepreneur, I know how to negotiate. I know how to have a win-win situation with people. So maybe that, from all the followers I have on the back of me, maybe we can have something win-win together. It's starting. I would say it's not perfect, but it's starting to come more and more and more. And if we have new government, maybe we have a new open site, or can I say that? Open way to negotiate, and brings the knowledge of whatever we want. If it's gun, it's gun. But if it's management of the wildlife, the deer, the moose, and stuff like that, now we have the knowledge, maybe more of everything, and try to tell them, hey man, we have the on our boots. We're always on the field, so
That's right.
maybe I don't have the university on the back of me, but I can tell you I have the University of Life. So that I'm qualified for that.
Well, and
So
that's exactly, and I'm glad to see that it's going that way for you because I've been finding the same thing myself. Because in
yep,
the people say, "Oh, I hate the government," or "I hate whatever," "I hate the police," or "I hate the whatever." It's just they're all people, and there's going to be
yep,
some really terrible people in there, and there's going to be
yep,
some really great people in there.
of
But the
course,
vast majority of them are just going to be, I plug in what's the easiest, the path of least resistance. I do my job, I get out. That's a vast majority. That's
yep,
human nature. But by
of course,
having the voice that you have with Anjas, by having the voice through the Silvercore podcast,
yep,
you also kind of keep the bad people at bay because they realize there's going to be a spotlight put on them. But
yep,
the good people have the ability to see what you're doing. The people
of course,
whose ethics and morals align with your own, and you can start to help amplify the voice of those people out
of
there
course.
who are doing good things.
Of course, and I saw that because when you have those meeting with those people, really, really, can say influencer people on the back, and you talk with them, and they're like this, they look at you like this, and you see, but the guys on the back look at you and say, "Oh, this guy," and at the end of those meetings, those guys are leaving, and this guy's going to come to you and say, "We have to talk." So that's the guy you want to have. And a lot of times that happen, that guy says, I don't have any guns. But what you say is really, really logical, what you're saying. Can you explain me more about that? Of course. Tell me when and how, and I'll be with you and I will explain. And that's really, small things sometimes go big. And that's what I find out. Doing small thing to, not stopping, just asking, be really respectful, really polite, and that's gonna come. That's gonna come. That's why now you see on a podcast, I will tell the truth, but be politically correct. Can I
Okay.
say? I'm gonna say that I'll be politically correct, but if you do something dumb, I'm gonna say you're dumb. So for
Sure.
sure. But the rest, it's try to be politically correct, try to have a win-win situation, and brings what we can brings to the followers. Like whatever the subject it is. If something touch us, you want to touch other people, and we're gonna make it. That's
So
it.
how long after posting every single day, whether you're sick, whether you're tired, whether whatever, you're still posting every day. How long from when you decided to start doing that did you start seeing positive results from your efforts?
I would say after the second year.
Okay.
I would say after the second year because I was really on some subject, about managing.
Hmm.
Guns just come about when the last government did all those stuff, okay? But after, I would say, 400, 500 show, okay? I see the difference when I was talking on something, they were calling me. Sometimes they use somebody else
Hmm.
on my people around, say, can you say that to him, to we appreciate that, or tell an example. I really don't like coyotes,
Hmm.
okay? The reason is they kill my herbs. I think they have too much.
Hmm.
On the east side, they are really more big because some are with the wolves.
Hmm.
So they are intelligent. They are killing a lot of my deer, okay, in my herb. So I make hard time on coyotes all the times.
Hmm.
So, but for myself, if you talk with me, I would maybe kill 75 to 100 coyotes every year. Okay, so that's
Hmm.
that's really normal of what I do. So when I talk coyotes, it's a part of my life all the time.
Yeah.
I don't like them. I respect the animal. I know why he's there, but he's not supposed to be in Quebec. He's supposed to be on the south. So okay, he's not supposed to be around. But I was telling that most of I would say maybe 2, 3 morning, oh, the goddamn coyotes is on the field. I shot one yesterday. I catch
Hmm.
one and whatever. So I get a phone call from the game warden.
Hmm.
He says, "Listen, can you please just change how you say it?" I said, "What do you mean?" But he said, "You, Stefan, when the coyotes are inside your fence, you can do whatever you want with them. You can shoot them, you can do whatever you want. But outside, there's law. The law is you could not shoot them at night. You cannot shoot them on summer. What you are saying, we're seeing now on the field, those guys are shooting coyotes every time. So can you please change that? So for sure. I'm sorry about that. I didn't think about that. So I changed my way, say, listen, coyotes, you have to hunt them. How to call them, you see everything I have to say. And we just changed that and we see the difference. So you see, so that's an example of the influence we can have when our mind, we're thinking we're okay, but hunters taking on the other way and they hunt whatever they want or whatever it is. So that's one of the example. But there's a lot of example like that.
So it only took you 2 years to become an overnight success.
Yeah, that's what I found out. They call me more. And I would say after 4 years, they are scared. They are scared.
Interesting.
They could not believe. You see, I just found out about, I don't know, I just found out not really long time ago. I did a lot of show on 5 years, but it's my, every morning I'm really passionate. So I jump the morning at 4:00, look at the news, look at everything. I was doing that for years. So doing the show, it's normal because that's what I was doing. But doing this for 5 years now, every day. Now they look at me, they think, I don't know what they think, but now they said, okay, we have to take, because they were thinking I was doing just 10 show, 100 show, 1,000 show, and now I'm going on the 2,000 show. So they said, this guy is going to be there for a long time.
So there's a good lesson in there as well for people who are entrepreneurs, people who want to succeed in life, and that's the plugging away will win you the day, right? Just constantly putting in that effort will accrue over time.
Yep. But I think that's the secret. Entrepreneur, it's 24 hours a day, 365 days on a year. Whatever you do, the thing is, what it's really, really cool for us, it's our passion on top of that. So talking about hunting, fishing, shooting, and whatever, it's easy. I don't know if some guys can do that for whatever the work they did. They do. But yes, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I can say, I jump up every morning at 4:00, finishing the show at, when everything is done. I wrote the show because I do all the news on the day. I finish the show around 9. So finishing recording live and everything. 9:00, I have a meeting with my crew about marketing stuff, whatever. After that, at 10, I go to the barn. I have 12 people working for us for the attractant. I do all my job, finish at 4, come home, make lunch for my wife.
Yeah.
Yep.
Important. Very important.
Very important. Even on my son, because we're all living in the same land. So
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's it. My dad just passed away about 5 months ago. But the thing is, my mom is still there. But all the house are really close, but we don't see anybody. But at 300 yards, we're all together in the same land. So I have my 2 sons, my mom, me, and my wife are living in the land. So what do you think happened? If I do whitetail spaghetti, Dad, do you have? Mom, do you want?
Yeah.
So that's how it
great.
is. So we're all living together. So that's I think it's a bless. I think it's a bless.
100% that is. If you're able
Yeah,
to do that, I think there's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah. Yep.
So if your hunting legacy were boiled down to one lesson, something people remember you for, what would it be?
Oh, passion. Just that. It's whatever you like, whatever you want, if you are passionate, you're going to make it. You're going to make it. If I'm on a deer, if I see the deer I want on my wall, it could take 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. At the time he's going to still living, I'm going to be on it. I'm going to following him. I'm going to take picture of him. I'm going to manage the territory for him. I will do whatever I have to do to try to on that deer. Even on the moose, it's the same. So if you are passionate about what you like, everything's going to happen, I think, because that's how it is for myself and for the family and everything. So just be passionate, 100% passionate of what you like.
And where does your passion come from?
Oh, man, that's a good question. I love, you see, whitetail it's the most, okay? You know, in Quebec, moose, it's the animal to hunt. But what I found out on a whitetail, I don't know if it's the intelligence they have or how they react. We have whitetail coast to coast, north to south on America. I hunt them everywhere. I hunt them east side, north states, Canadian side, everywhere. And even I'm raising them. I have them on the front of me every day. And those animals bring me somewhere. When I look at them, you know what it amazed me? It's when my dad was living here before me, because on my career, I was everywhere, okay? But the time I come to the barn and start living here, we have around 150 deer. And when I was with my dad, he was looking at them and says, oh, that's Julie, that's his name. Oh, that's Spiky. Oh, that's Mother. And I said, how you know that?
Wow.
Their face?
Yeah.
So what you mean, their face? But he says, when you're going to be all the time with the whitetail, their face is the same like a human. You're going to find out when you're going to be there. And it's true. All those deer I have here, I can tell you, that's him. That's a cyclop. That's monster. Even he don't have his horn.
Yeah.
Just by his face. That's him. That's her. That's how it is. So the big thing is whitetail. Whitetail brings me somewhere. I don't know how. I love them from Anticosti, Ireland, or from where I was now. I hunt them everywhere. And you know, what I found out in my career of hunters, I don't want to hunt more than 3 years in the same place because I would like to go everywhere. So if I'm hunting three years in the same territory, even for moose, for whitetail, I move. Even if I'm successful, I want to move, see the new habitat, the new animal, how they live, what they eat, how they travel. I just want to learn about them, about that. That's one thing, passion. That's what I can say.
Yeah. Well, you've got passion in spades, that's for sure.
Yep.
You know, some people have a hard time finding their passion or being passionate about something.
Of course. But
And-
I think Mother Nature is the things. I think if you be grounded with Mother Nature every day, see, I'd be amazed with everything I saw in the woods, you know? But if you are grounded and you don't forget, you see, when you lost somebody, like I lost my dad, you're gonna know one thing. Suns, you know the suns? It's the morning is there, and at the end of the day, it's going to be at the end at the same place every day. So in this, you have to find out something. Sometimes you have no chance, no choice. You have your jobs. The circle of life is there. But if you are passionate, I think it's going to change something. Two things: passion, whitetail. For myself, it's done.
I love it. I love it. Well, Stéphane, is there anything that we haven't talked about that we should be talking about?
I want to be more with you.
Well, we can do that easy. You're coming over here.
I know. But the thing is, what I found out is when I met you, okay, and I met all your lifestyle, and Shani present us at the SHOT Show. It's been, I would say, 2 months. We just know together. I love the thinking of your crowd and everything. So just be more time with you, and you're gonna come on the east side.
100% I am.
That's it.
I've only stopped over at the airport in Montreal, and I ran under the plane just so I could say I had boots on the ground. But that's the most I've seen
Well,
in
but
Quebec.
next, you see, we have to plan that on the future, okay? I'm going to go on your side, but you're going to come on my side, and we're going to take picture. I'll show you the farm. I'll show you how we live. The guns, for sure.
100%. Oh, I'm looking forward to that. That'll be so much fun. And you're going to be over in Alaska. I'll be up in Alaska there in a
Oh,
bit.
for sure.
Probably not
we
at the
have
same
so much
times.
things all together, so I think having fun together and all after that, the followers going to see it and everything. So it's going to be really, really cool. Really cool.
I love it, Stéphane. I'm going to put links in the description. Anyone wanting to find how to learn more about you, it's all going to be in the description.
If they have, I'm going to give you I have a personal, you see, with all the crew and all the followers we have, but always I have a email. People can reach me, talk with me. I answer it personally every time. So I'm going to give to you. So if guys have some question, whatever, about deer, moose, whatever, it's going to be a pleasure to talk with you guys, whatever you are in the country.
That's amazing. Stéphane, thank you so much for being on the Silvercore podcast. I'm looking forward to when we record our next one.
Thank you so much. See you.